up, guys? It's Ryan from Beer Time. We're in Weymouth, Massachusetts, and we're at Vitamin Sea Brewing. Let's go try some beers. And don't forget, drink local. Welcome to Beer Time. We're at Vitamin Sea Brewing in Weymouth, Massachusetts, and I'm sitting here with Dino, the owner of Vitamin Sea. So super happy to be here, and my first time here. So
welcome.
We're going to be trying your. Is this kind of your cornerstone?
We don't really have like a flagship per se, if that's
okay.
what you're getting at, but it's definitely one of our regular rotation beers, and it's something that we've had since the beginning. So it's a favorite.
All right, awesome. This is Due North Indian Pale Ale. Let's crack them and get to tasting. So, I mean, first off, we always color. It looks like it's a New England style.
Absolutely.
With that beautiful haze running through it. Wow. Looks great. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right. So, very juicy right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of what we go for.
Yeah, what kind of hops are you guys?
So this particular beer has Galaxy and Mosaic hops.
Okay.
So two of our favorites. We use them a lot in a bunch of our different recipes. And for this style of beer, I mean, there's really not much better that you can go with than those two.
Yeah, and now, it's funny because when you think like Vitamin C, everyone's first thought is like, oh, orange juice or,
sure.
something like that. But you guys are going with more of a nautical theme. Are you guys trying to kind of mix and match here? Because we got a little juiciness going on.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it kind of all ties into the name of Vitamin C. We started in a small coastal town, Hull, Mass, a few miles from here. The name goes back way further than that, but we were originally going to open up in Hull, but we couldn't find a space. But we wanted to stick with that kind of nautical theme, and the name Vitamin Sea. When we were kind of figuring, what could we name the brewery? It was one of the names that I'd been toying around with, and it just kind of stuck. So we went with it. It goes back to 100 years ago. Back in school, I had to do a class project where I had to create like a fictitious business, and it was going to be a Vitamin Sea surf shop is what it was going to be. And I always liked the name, and it just said, geez, someday I'd like to do something with that name. And then sure enough, the opportunity came. So hence
That's awesome.
Vitamin Sea Brewing. Yeah.
That's great. I couldn't see that through and through.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up in
I
Mass,
grew up, I did, about 10, 15 minutes from here, so pretty close by.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd have a crappy day job, and I'd drive home, and I'd come around that bay, and all of a sudden, like, you decompress, right? It's like, I'm in a good spot now. So it really has a special meaning to me, being from where I'm at. And with the logo, we wanted to try and incorporate that same feel, right? So we've got the sun and the waves, if you will, and then that little nod to the IPAs there with the citrus slice in the middle there. So it's very clean and vectorish, and it was something that we wanted people to see it and they'd know, like, that's our logo.
So when was beer the what you knew you wanted to sell?
So I started homebrewing back in like 1991, and brewed a few batches at home and just kind of put it down. Wasn't really thrilled with it at the time. The beer was awful. And then I started home winemaking, and I did that for about 25 years, and got back into that. And then probably about 9 years ago, just got the bug again, like the itch to really like start brewing again and get back into that. So I hooked up with a friend of mine and brother-in-law and a few other friends, and we started homebrewing, every weekend, and then just the beer got better and better and better, and we'd give it out to friends. We had a whole group of people that would come through the house just to try the beer when we were brewing on brew days, and then with our packaged beer, because we were canning our beer even back in the homebrew days. We wanted to really treat it as though it was something more than what it was.
Were you self-carbonating it, with letting it carbonate on
Yeah,
its own?
we had all the same equipment, really, just on a smaller scale. Mm-hmm. So it was almost like we had a nano brewery, which was still everything that you'd need to we could commercially open with it technically if we had a space, just again on a smaller scale. And we would give it out, and then they would, we'd give it to friends, and then friends would give it to friends, and they would just kept compounding. And we had this cooler actually that people would come from all over and just grab a 4-pack of beer out of it.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it just became like this whole scene, right? So we said, all right, well maybe there's something there, and we said, let's try and follow this thing, and we wrote a business plan and started talking to people from a finance standpoint, and started looking at properties, and then the next thing you know, it was like, all right, this is happening.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was cool.
So it's interesting how you took 25 years in the wine industry, and do you still implement those ideals?
Yeah, I mean, to a point, right? With wine and beer, I mean, it's really about keeping things sterile. It's about cleaning properly, packaging things correctly, having the discipline to give things the right amount of time. So there's definitely a lot of similarities there. They are different, obviously, but you're fermenting, both aspects. So when we first started, we talked about having, say, a flagship, like we talked about, but we said, you know what, it might be better for us in the long run if we actually just keep rotating things. So every week we release something different. And God, I don't know, we probably have 200 plus recipes right now. You'll still see some beers, some of the core beers, you'll see them more than once a year, but more often than not, it's something new. We collaborate with a lot of other breweries too, which is fun and exciting because we get to learn a lot of new techniques and get to hang out with friends doing it. And we try to continue to do that. But, I think now you'll start to see we're getting into that stout season, if you will. So you'll start to see some darker beers, and we'll continue with the IPAs, which we're famously known for, or infamously known for. And then we do a lot of the fruited sours as well, too. And those seem to be very, very popular. So I think we'll continue on with all those. We're open Fridays and Saturdays, 12 to 8 right now. We might be expanding that at some point. We'll see. Pre-COVID, we were also open on Thursdays. But we need to see what's what. We right out of the gate with COVID, we were getting slammed, and we just didn't have enough product, so we had to cut back on our hours. So we'll see as we hopefully get caught up at some point. And we've been sending kegs out to some bars and restaurants recently to try and help them out as well.
Great, fantastic,
so, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Dino, cheers. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Catch you guys next time on Beer Time.